creation of the world, a story from Luba mythology. In the beginning, there was only darkness and chaos, and the world as we know it did not exist. The Luba people of the Congo believed that all life came from Kalunga, the great god of creation who ruled over both life and death. Kalunga existed in the void, dreaming of a world filled with light, life, and beauty. One day, Kalunga decided to bring his vision to life. He stretched out his hand, and from the void emerged Mythical, a powerful being who would assist in shaping the world. Together, Kalunga and Mythical separated the heavens from the earth, creating the sun, moon, and stars to light up the darkness. The rivers began to flow, and the mountains rose from the ground. However, the world remained barren, so Kalunga breathed life into the land, creating plants, animals, and the first humans. He gave humans the knowledge to cultivate the earth, build shelters, and live in harmony with nature. Mythical, who was also a wise leader, taught the people how to hunt, fish, and govern their communities with fairness and justice. Kalunga also created the Bakongo, protective spirits who guarded the land and watched over the people. These spirits were believed to be the ancestors of the Luba, guiding their descendants and ensuring the balance between the living and the spiritual world. One day, a drought struck the land, and the people turned to the Babidai for help. After a sacred ritual, the Babidai reminded the people to live in harmony with nature, as Kalunga had intended. Soon after, the rains returned, and the land flourished once more. The Journey to Kalunga, a story from Bakongo mythology. In the lush lands along the Congo River, the Bakongo people believed that life and death were deeply connected, and that the world of the living and the world of the dead were separated by a powerful force called Kalunga, the great river of life and death. The supreme god, Nzambi, watched over all, guiding the souls of the living and ensuring that the dead found their place in the afterlife. One day, a wise elder named Kiala grew old and sensed that his time on earth was nearing its end. As was the custom among the Bakongo, Kiala gathered the people of his village and shared stories of their ancestors, reminding them of the cycle of life and the journey all souls must make to Kalunga. Kiala explained that when a person dies, their spirit travels across the Kalunga River to the land of the dead, known as Embark. There, the ancestors lived in peace, watching over the river. But to cross the river, the soul had to be pure and respectful of nature, for the spirits of the land and water guided the dead on their journey. If a person had lived a life of harmony with others and nature, they would safely reach Embark. The time came for Kiala to take his journey. As the village mourned, they performed sacred rituals to honor Nzambi and the spirits, ensuring that Kiala's soul would have a safe passage. His body was buried with care, facing west towards the setting sun, a symbol of the transition from life to death. In the days following Kiala's passing, the village felt his presence in the rustling trees and flowing river. They knew that he had safely crossed Kalunga and was now among the ancestors, watching over them from the Pemba. The people continued to honor him and all the ancestors through rituals, offerings, and respect of nature. The Blessing of Tukula, a story from Chokwe mythology. In the vast lands of the Chokwe people, who lived across Angola, Zambia, and the Democratic Republic of the Congo, the world was shaped and watched over by powerful gods and spirits. At the center of their beliefs was Tukula, the creator god who brought life to the world and gave the Chokwe their rich lands and tradition. Long ago, the Chokwe people were struggling with a great drought that had left their crops withered and their rivers dry. The people prayed to Tukula, offering gifts of carved wood and sacred symbols, asking for his mercy. Tukula, though distant, was always present in the Chokwe people's lives, and it was said that he listened closely to those who lived in harmony with the world. One night, a young woman named Lueji had a dream. In the dream, Tukula appeared to her as a radiant being, draped in red earth, symbolizing the land he created. Tukula spoke to her, telling her that the drought was a sign that the people had forgotten the importance of balance between themselves and nature. He instructed Lueji to lead the villagers to the sacred riverbed at sunrise, where they were to offer a ritual of unity and gratitude. The next morning, Lueji shared her vision with the elders, and the village gathered at the dry riverbed. Following Tukula's instructions, they performed the ritual, offering thanks for the land and vowing to care for it as their ancestors had. As the ceremony ended, clouds began to gather in the sky, and soon the rains fell, filling the river and nourishing the fields once more. The people rejoiced, knowing that Tukula had heard their prayers. From that day forward, they honored Tukula not only through offerings, but by respecting the land, which they saw as a sacred gift from their creator. They believed that as long as they lived in harmony with nature and their gods, Tukula would continue to bless them with abundance. The Guardians of the Land, a story from Bamileke mythology. In the lush highlands of Cameroon, the Bamileke people believed in a world filled with powerful spirits and gods who watched over the land and its people. Among them was Nyambe, the creator god, who shaped the earth and gave life to all beings. However, Nyambe entrusted the care of the land to local spirits known as the Miengu, who lived in the rivers, forests, and mountains. One day, a young farmer named Muma noticed that his crops were failing despite the rich soil. Desperate, he sought advice from the village elders, who told him that the Miengu were displeased because the people had stopped offering respect to the spirits of the land. Muma, determined to save his crops, decided to visit the sacred river where the Miengu were said to dwell. Carrying offerings of kola nuts and palm wine, Muma prayed by the river, asking the Miengu for forgiveness and guidance. As he prayed, the water shimmered, and a soft voice spoke to him, reminding him that the land must be respected and cared for. The next day, rain fell upon Muma's fields, and his crops flourished. The Bamaleke people, learning from Muma's experience, continued to honor the Miengu and other spirits, understanding that the balance between the human world and the spiritual world was vital for their prosperity. They knew that as long as they respected the spirits, the land would continue to provide for them. The creation of the world, a story from Luba mythology. In the beginning, there was only darkness and silence. The Baluba people of the Congo believed that from this void emerged Fidi Mukulu, the supreme creator god. Fidi Mukulu desired to bring light and life to the world, so he separated the heavens from the earth and created the sun, moon, and stars to brighten the sky. Fidi Mukulu then formed the land, shaping rivers, mountains, and forests with his hands. From the earth, he created the first humans, breathing life into them and giving them the ability to speak, think, and care for the land. He entrusted the people with the responsibility to live in harmony with nature and to respect the balance of the world. However, the people soon began to forget the ways of Fidi Mukulu, and conflict arose between them. The once fertile lands began to wither as the people fought and neglected their duties. Fidi Mukulu, seeing the chaos, sent his divine messengers, the Bavidai, powerful spirits who acted as intermediaries between the god and humans, to remind them of their purpose. One day, a wise woman named Kalunga had a vision of Fidi Mukulu and the Bavidai. In her dream, Fidi Mukulu told her that the people must return to living in peace and respecting the natural world. Kalunga shared her vision with the village, and they gathered to perform rituals of reconciliation, offering thanks to Fidi Mukulu and the Bavidai. Soon after, the land flourished once more and peace was restored. The Baluba people understood that Fidi Mukulu's creation required balance and harmony, and they continued to honor the Bavidai as protectors and guides of the world. Through their respect for the divine forces, they ensured the prosperity of their people and the land for generations